So let's take a moment and think here. I hope that things are fairly clear so far. But let's take a moment and think here about their next point. I'm thinking of the brief discussion on bottom of page 217 and into 218 to the end of section 1. I often hear students say at this point, or in regard to this discussion of the asymmetry problem, that they're just utterly unconvinced by the point. They just see as utterly different prenatal non-existence as opposed to posthumous non-existence. And why? Well, because you'll hear people say, and not without reason, before I was born, I didn't know what I was missing. I hadn't been born yet, so I didn't know that I was missing out on anything. I know that I'll be missing out on stuff when I die, and that's a really strong point. And it, in a way, is the whole, it's very connected with the authors here, their ultimate conclusion, solution to this problem. But let's just think about that. If there is such a thing, we can talk about like prenatal non-existence, and if we can say that during the period of our prenatal non-existence, during the period before we were born, that we are being deprived of goods in the sense that it's sensible to say, had we been born, in the sense, had we been born earlier, we would have experienced the goods that would have then been available to us. And then we can also say that when we die, if we had died later than we did, we would have experienced all the goods then that would have been available to us during that period of our existence. What's being said basically in the objection, the typical objection, is that during that prenatal period, I didn't know what I was missing, so I don't care. But doesn't it apply to the posthumous period too? We know, we can anticipate that we will be deprived in the future of certain goods. But when we are deprived of them, if we are deprived of them posthumously, we certainly won't know it. That is, we won't know that we're being deprived any more than we knew we were being deprived before we were born. So I don't think that the objection that before I was born I didn't know what I was missing is really strong, because if we take the Epicurean point seriously, then we won't know after we die what we're missing either. We may anticipate it now, but we can't imagine ourselves in a future state of being deprived, because we won't be in any sort of future state. So it would seem that the asymmetry, or that the Lucretian or Epicurean demand that we treat these things symmetrically, still stands.